I said, there must be a paradox somewhere. A paradox in the sense that locally, he used to be a minister. I used to head NEPA. What am I drawing at? I'm drawing at the material conditions that brought us where we are. A lot of people will say, don't talk about that. Why am I talking about that? Today, Mr. President has the most massive infrastructural development going on in the country, especially in the north. He's targeting 5,000 kilometers of road, north and south. He's targeting 5,000 kilometers of standard gauge rail line, even one that will stretch from Kano to Maradi. He has started the Mambila hydroelectric power plant that will generate about 3,000 megawatts of electricity. That Mambila had been on the plan since 1973. This might not come into fruition in one day. So when they made the statement of the fact that Mr. President is wasting time, in fact, they even talked of corruption. They even talked of complacency. And I said complacency. In 2015, when Mr. President came to power, the international oil price nosedived. And Mr. President, to any of us, did not contribute to why it nosedived.
But Director General, I just want to come in here.
I'm trying to pick up the pieces. Because the pieces is as if Mr. President had been very idle. And that's not the case. The Kano Medugri that was left for 16 good years.
Director General, we can't list every project here, so I have to get to the point. You know, when we look at what's going on in the country now, you have very senior northern leaders. Of course, we've now seen General T.Y. Danjuma come out, and we saw what he had to say about the neutrality or lack of neutrality within the armed forces, that allegation. We've heard General Babangida come out calling for a new generation of leadership in the country. We've heard General Obasanjo. We've heard so many leaders come out against this administration. I just want to ask you, do you believe that all of this is just essentially nonsense, that is just not worthwhile? Or don't you think that there might be something that the president really needs to look into here?
No. It would be stupid of me to come here to say that there are no downside in President Muhammadu Buhari's regime. There are. And we have also pointed out that part of the problem we have, why the center receives all the bashing, is that a lot of leaders are not interested in what's going on in their states. And going by the federal allocation formula, about 52% is federal. The other 48 is state. State in the sense that no local government election has been conducted either in the north or south, where the incumbent governor or the state did not win. So, which means the local government is the pocket of the states. I'm here to hear both Ohaneze, Northern Elders Forum, Arewa Consolidated Forum, Afenifere criticize their states, or even look into the docket of how much money that is going to the states and the local councils. But if it is about the federal government of Nigeria, the central view of any federal government in Nigeria is those critical infrastructure that one state cannot carry, like the Mambila. Taraba State cannot do it alone. The coal in Enugu State cannot do it alone. And that is where Mr. President is coming from. The rail lines, Port Harcourt, Medugri, standardization, Lagos to Kano, the coastal rail line. Yeah. No state can do it alone.
Engineer
and
Suleiman,
that's what Mr. President is doing.
Very quickly, you know, as part of the outcomes listed in the communique, obviously this isn't just the Northern Elders Forum, it's also the Arewa Consultative Forum and a conglomerate of other groups from the north. It was very clear that you are now looking, essentially, across the north for a potential replacement, if you will, for President Muhammadu Buhari. Who are some of the people you're looking at?
before we get to that level, I need to say a few things from what he has just said. First of all, the Northern Elders Forum and ACF and virtually all the other 14 Northern associations, these are people that love the president because of our love for him, because of our concern for him to do good. That's why we came out with this, our communique. Secondly, the communique did not just sort of isolate President Muhammadu Buhari, but we said all leaders, including all the governors and the local government chairmen, we said this is the time. We are not seeing those plans that are going to get our people away from this, should I say, very excruciating poverty and blindness, to the extent that today, the southern part of the country is clearly 30 years ahead of us. And we, the leaders, will just sit down and start praising the leaders without challenging them? No. God will not forgive us.
Isn't this coming a little too late? But before we even get there,
Yes.
let me first of all take you up on this particular statement. He says, federal government spending is severely tilted against the North,
Yes.
while most state governments only pay lip service to real development in their state.
Absolutely.
Why do you allege, how come you allege that federal government spending is tilted against the North? What
It's
proof
not alleged.
do
It's
you
not
have?
alleged. Yes. We did analysis of the last 3 budgets. Quite unfortunately, I didn't come with a document here, which clearly shows the Naira component of the total expenditure. The first budget, the second budget, and now the third budget. And every single time, we sat down with the members of our legislature and said, look, see what was, explain to us. The first time they said they tried to change some of these things, but politically it was impossible because Mr. President told them, I have done my budget and I want it the way it is.
Are you saying then that the South is getting more
Yes.
than the North?
Yes.
How is that possible?
Well, you are, what should I say, the journalist. Do your analysis. You will see it there.